Hey, Shalom. Shabbat the month is all. Thinking out loud lesson. But before I even get into it, I want to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone and Ruwell. Peace and salutation to all the Akim out here laboring in this truth and sincerity. Yeah, man. Basically, I was just sitting here thinking out loud, man, thinking about, the trials, and the sufferings, man, that we got to go through, and, basically sometimes, it could be like an uphill battle, man, fighting and struggling, in this faith, trying to push, keep pushing, what I'm saying, in this thing. You got to keep on pushing. You can't let it go, man. And the Lord is taking me myself personally, through some fiery trials, and I'm just looking at it in the spirit now, I'm really looking at it, going through some shit, right now, even on the job, because of my faith, It's funny how people can find out, about us being Israelites. Well, they can find out because, YouTube. We be more famous than what we be knowing, man. And, currently it just seemed like, I'm catching hell now because of that reason at work on the job, being worked even more harder, being drugged down, man, they working the shit out of me right now, but and then you try to find another way, so you don't have to keep going through all of that shit, man. I've been trying, man, to get from out of this position for a long time, and I just been getting denied, man, But is that for me to lose faith in Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai? Most High forbid. I'm supposed to, keep on, in this thing, man, and, don't lose my faith, regardless to whatever it is. You just got to sometimes wait on the Lord, man, And the Lord is basically shaping me, and molding me, His likeness, man, And, I know there'll be brothers going through stuff, But you got to understand, man, like when you turned away from evil, and you turned away from the world, man, like the scriptures say, right here in Isaiah 59, verse 15. I'm going to read it. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and read it. It says, yea, Salakia. It says, yea, truth faileth, and he that departed from evil maketh himself a prey. And Yahweh saw it, Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai saw it, and it displeased him that there was no judgment. So yeah, when you depart from evil, you make yourself a prey. You're gonna stick out. You're gonna stick out, man, to everybody. Everybody else gonna notice something different about you, because you're not partaking in what they doing. You don't even eat the same foods that they eat. You don't do the same things that they do. So now you make yourself a prey for people to sit around and point their finger, talk about you, say certain things like, what's wrong with him? Why he ain't eating this pizza, this cheese and sausage pizza? Or why he not going to the Halloween party? Or why he ain't going to whatever kind of party? Who he think he is? Do he think he better than me? He think he better than us? F that dude. I don't like that dude, whoever. He think he's special, And you are special, man, because you turned away from evil, man. You special to the Most High, to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. The Lord got you now, So yeah, when you turn away from that, man, you make yourself a prey. So now, just like how Job was being tested, you got to be tested now. You got to be brought into the fire, man. The furnace of affliction. Let me grab that real quick. This is in the book of 1 Peter 4:12. It says, Beloved, think it not strange concerning the fiery trial, which is to try you, as though some strange thing happened unto you. Right. Hey, this think it not to be strange, man. This is supposed to happen. You know, you're gonna be put in a furnace, of affliction. You're gonna be tried, man. Your faith is gonna be tried. Hey, the Lord is not just finna take, anybody into the kingdom of heaven. He wants somebody, who's gonna be faithful, man. Faithful all the way up into the end, to the death. But before you be brought in, you got to be cleansed. You got to be made clean. That's why you got to go through the furnace anyway. You got to get all that dross off, all that old man, all that old woman, all of that got to be burnt off, so that you can be made into that precious metal, that gold, so you can really get your shine, from Yahweh Shem Yahushua at the end of the day. And us even going through that, this suffering that we're going through, and we actually partake in the same sufferings with our Lord Yahushua Mashiach. I'm gonna read down to the next verse, verse 13. It says, But rejoice in so much as ye are partakers of Hamashiach's sufferings, that when his glory shall be revealed, ye may be glad also with exceeding joy, man. So you gonna also be glad too, man, because you made it through the purification process, the purging process, and now you're gonna be made perfect, man, in a new body, a body, an incorruptible body, because you endured, that suffering, going through that furnace of affliction, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. So the thing is, you got to still maintain, man, and hold fast, no matter what kind of suffering you might be going through, man. And sometimes it be hard as shit. I know it is, because I'm going through it right now, man. I've been getting even mentally frustrated with it too, like, angry and bitter and mad, man, and hurt, fed up with it, man, but the Spirit comforted me, man, gave me comfort, and told me, man, hey, through the Spirit, man, the scriptures, man, that's why, man, the scriptures are beautiful, man. Keep pressing, and hold fast, man. These things are supposed to happen, Yeah, this is, I'm going to read this real quick. Matter of fact, let me just grab it on here. I wish I could keep on going. I'm at work, so this is going to be a quick lesson. I'm not going to be on here too long. This is Philippians 1:29. Let's get slackier. Philippians 1:29. Matter of fact, let me see. I'll just get to the point. Philippians 1:29. It says, For unto you it is given in the behalf of Hamashiach, not only to believe on him, but also to suffer for his sake, having the same conflict which ye saw in me, and now here to be in me. So basically, going back to 29, we suffering on the behalf of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, man. For them that really believe in him. So we suffering for his sake, man, and there's a blessing in that, man. I'm gonna grab that real quick, and then I'm gonna close probably on that, Unless the Spirit had me pull up another one. This is Matthew 5, and I'm going to start at verse 10? Yeah, verse 10. He said, blessed are they which are persecuted for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you, and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. He said, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven. For so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So yeah, man, you know, hey, if you're being persecuted, you know what I'm saying, treated unfairly, unjustly, man, lied on, you know, people speaking all evil on you, talking crazy about you, hey, man, rejoice, man. You know, like the scriptures say in the book of James. In fact, let me find that. You know, hey, rejoice, man. You got to rejoice. Hey, the Lord, you know, that's the Lord, you know, setting you up for the blessing. You know, taking you through all of those different trials, man. Let me grab this and then I'm going to close. This is James 1, and I believe it's 2. This is James 1 and 2. Matter of fact, I started 1. James chapter 1, verse 1. It says, James, the servant of Yahweh and the Lord Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad, greeting. This is to all the 12 tribes, man, that's scattered in the four corners of the earth, man. Everywhere, to all the Israelites that believe on the Lord, you know. Verse 2, he said, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience, because it does, man. It works your character. You know, it builds you up in character. And it gives you experiences, you know. That patience basically goes into being, you know, suffering, because it's a waiting process. So you got to learn how to wait things out, man, because you don't know where the Lord taking you. What is he doing? He's grooming you for something better, you know. So you got to learn how to, you know, have wisdom in every situation that you're dealing with. You know, you can't let this world, you know, have you, you know, take you out of your character, man, and how you acting, you know, in the flesh and be a carnal. You got to learn how to be steadfast in the spirit, you know. And that's one thing that I'm learning. That's what I'm learning, you know, is how to be more steadfast in the spirit by going through all of these different things, man, being afflicted in the flesh, catching hell, you know what I'm saying, you know, learning how to, you know, maneuver and deal with different things and situations in this life we live, man. You know, so the Lord, you know, you be going through hell, man, but it's for a good reason, man. Because you know what? Them could be your weaknesses, man, if, you know, what's in your flesh. And also, too, the Lord take you through it, too, so you can see it. You know, because sometimes you're going to fall short and you're going to slip. You're going to mess up, man. You know, you might say something you ain't mean, or you might do something you didn't mean. You know, but it's for our learning, though. You know, it's so you could be perfected. You know. That don't mean you're not, you know, righteous because you fail. No, you get back up, man. Like the scripture said, a righteous man falls several times, man, but he get back up. You just keep on fighting, man, and learn from those different experiences, man. You know, hey, the Lord is working with you. You know, so you got to count it all joy. James, back to James 1 and I'm gonna start at 2 again. He said, my brethren, count it all joy when ye fall into divers temptations, knowing this, that the trying of your faith worketh patience. But let patience have a perfect work. See? Let patience have a perfect work, man. And the suffering, you know, going through hell, going through that furnace of affliction, man, getting that dross cleaned off, man. You know, being purified in the spirit, man, becoming a new creature daily, putting off the old man. You know, let patience have her work. Okay, and he says, knowing this, that the trying of your faith work of patience, but let patience have a perfect work, that ye may be perfect and entire, wanting nothing. All right? Let me see something. Oh, wow. God. I'm going to read it in the NLT real quick, and then I'm going to close out with that. I'm just going to go straight through it. This is James, St. James chapter 1, verse 1 in the NLT. He said, this letter is from James, a slave of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and of, the slave of Yahweh and of the Lord Yahushai HaMashiach. I'm writing to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, greetings. I ain't gonna say Jewish believers, Israelite believers. Verse 2, he says, dear brothers and sisters, when troubles come, dear brothers and sisters, when troubles come your way, consider it an opportunity for great joy. For you know that when your faith is tested, your endurance has a chance to grow. See? Oh, wow, man. So your endurance have a chance to grow. So you'll get stronger in the spirit, man. You'll have an endurance, that'll allow you to suffer a little longer, man, and make it through, Because we got the word, man, through the spirit. The word, it comforts us, The Lord, he instructs us through the spirit on what to do and how to do it, man. It just makes us better. It perfects us, Even though sometimes it do feel hard, you just want to, man, snap, but you can't. You got to still maintain, man, your mindset. You got to still maintain control over your spirit, You can't lose that control, That's why it's important to maintain, man, in this thing. Like you just said, so you can build up your endurance, Verse 4. So let it grow. Let your endurance grow. It says, for when your endurance is fully developed, you will be perfect and complete, needing nothing. So when you're, because the Lord gonna bless you, man. He gonna give you everything you need, man. Everything you want. Because you fighting a good fight of faith, man. And you going through the sufferings, partaking in the sufferings of Yahushua HaMashiach. So therefore, you're going to partake in what? The blessings. You're going to partake in the inheritance of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua HaMashiach, man. And that's a beautiful thing, man. And you're going to have that blessing forever, man. Basically, man, I hope you were all encouraged, And with that, man, I'm going to end with that. Till next time, Shalom. And yeah, by the way, Shalakia, pray for me, brothers and sisters. I need it. Shalom.